Hey guys, Terry here. I just got back from a crop, one-day crop here in town, and one of the gals, Diane is her name, she gave us this, had the idea of this card, and I just thought the design on it was so pretty. It's very easy to make, but it doesn't look very easy. And it just caught my eye because of the papers on it. It was so pretty. So we all have 6x6 paper pads that have this coordinating paper on. So it gave me an idea for Christmas cards. And here's what I came up with. Aren't they sharp? So this is the paper from Bella Boulevard. And I recently bought it at a Jelly Bean sale. And I thought the paper was just beautiful. It's just got a little bit of everything in it. But a lot of it is Christmas. And then on the other side it's got solid colors. So just a really versatile paper pack. So I thought I would show you how I made this card. Okay, so what we're going to need to make the card is I picked from the 6x6 pad of paper, I picked out coordinating colors, and I picked 7 different colors. You'll need 7 different colors. And then for the card itself, the card base is a normal 8.5 by 11 cut in half, and that measures 5.5 by 4.25, which is half of an 8.5 by 11, so it's easy to remember. The black is 1/4 of an inch smaller than that, and that gives you just a little 1/8 of an inch around the border, so that black makes it 5.25 by 4. And then the white, the last layer, is this white that we're going to use, and that's another 1/4 of an inch smaller, so that piece is 5 by 3 3/4. Okay, so that's the layers of our card. Now, because I like to have that cardstock handy, I have a tote that I carry that has all of my handy card supplies. So I have this one that's holding the 8.5 inch cardstock cut in half and folded lengthwise, because you could use the card this way or you can use it this way, so it goes both directions. And then I have a stack of a little bit white, lighter weight paper, and I have both white and the Desert Storm color. So those are made for the size of a card front. And then I have all my scraps cut down to 4x6s. So this is, you know, after you've either cut stuff on your Cricut or you've used it to mat pictures on your scrapbooking, the scraps are all in there. And then I have a rainbow of all the scrap colors. So that way I've got a case of paper that's always ready to go with, you know, a set of stamps, and can make cards easily. So I'm going to show you how to assemble one of these. So we've got our paper, we've got that cardstock. I wanted to have kind of a small sentiment, so I went through my Christmas stamps and found this one. This one's from the set Wishing You, and it's an older one from Stampin' Up. I don't know if it has the year on it. I know I've had this one several years. So I just thought this was a good size. And then I had the stitched oval that fit on it really well. So I thought that was a good size for the front of this card. So I've got a scrap piece of paper to stamp that on and cut that out. And then I've got black ink that I'm going to stamp that in. And then next I'll show you how we, like I said, it looks like a very complicated card, but it goes together really easily. So let's get started on making the card. Okay, I've brought in my paper cutter, and this tablet is normally my paper. These small paper pads, I have them as a 6x6, but these are actually a 6x8. So I was able to get 8 cards made out of this one. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your 7 different colors of paper and you're going to cut them in 2-inch by 6-inch strips. So just to save time, I'm going to do one of each color. But you would cut each of these down, and then you would have 4 of, if it's this size paper. So we'll just keep cutting this down. Last one. Okay, so I have my 7 colors. Now, to make the triangle shape, you're going to cut this in half from one corner to the other corner. I don't know if you can see that. I've got it on the edge there from one corner to the other corner so that I have triangle shapes. So I'm going to do that for each one. I'll show you again. I line it up on the edge, both ends on the edge of the trimmer. I have a guillotine cutter, but this would work if you have your regular slide trimmer. So I will do each of the 7. And the last one, corner to corner. Okay, so now we've got our triangle pieces. So we'll take the front of our card here and our tape runner. Now, the thing you have to notice is if you've got paper that has a direction on it, if there's a directional print on, in other words, there's words like the polka dot could go either direction, but these ones I noticed had words on them and I wanted them to go a certain direction. So I gave a look to my card and I said, okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to glue the first one down, and you're going to go from about the middle of the card across like this, and then you're going to lay your next one down. We'll glue that down, and then we'll lay the next one, and so on and so forth. And we keep laying them down, and we're leaving a little bit of a gap in between them. So what I'm doing before I glue them down is I'm just looking at the different colors and kind of seeing how I want to arrange them. I don't want to have the blacks too close to each other, the reds all on one side. Okay, so notice this one is Christmas trees. I don't want it to go that way. I want to use the other half that's going this direction. Okay, so like that. So like I have a green one up there, I'm going to put this one down here. And then this one can go like this. So most of them it doesn't matter the direction. And then I think that's 7. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's 7 colors. Okay, so let me glue those down. I'll show you how I'm gluing them. I'm running tape runner down the whole side there. And then again, the first one goes on. Let me get these out of the way. I'm going to keep them in the right order. I got an assembly line going once I decided how I was going to have them. And it went pretty quickly. So I'm just gluing it all the way from that side, and I'm just leaving a cute little gap between them. I'm just doing each color here. Just putting the point over there and following that gap. Okay. Just more green. When I was first doing it, I was kind of scooting them off the paper, but if you put them over here, then this part there's not enough room to show all the different colors. So keep the points over here really skinny so that you've got room to do all your colors on it. Okay. Okay, so you'll notice that we have a little bit left over. What we're going to do now is we're going to trim this off with our scissors, and then the scraps that are left, we'll do a little piece there and a little piece there. So we'll trim this off just by flipping it over and going around the outside edge. And I'm just kind of butting my scissors up against that card base. Just going all the way around the edge. Okay. So then I kind of look at what colors I want to do near the edge. So maybe we'll do another one of these down here. So what I'm going to do is, this piece is long enough to cover that corner. You want to make sure you've got enough room over here and all the way down here. So I'm going to put some glue right on this side. You'll line that up. Then I'm going to find a piece for up here. Probably want it to be red. Just make sure your scrap piece has enough to cover from edge to edge. And give it plenty of glue too, because you want to make sure it's down the whole card there. And then flip your card over and just cut these last two pieces off. And then any of the tips, if those are pointing off, coming off the card there, cut those off. Go all the way up the card and over. And look how pretty that looks. And it looks like it was just so complicated, but I think the trick is just gluing this first one down and then leaving a little gap. Okay. So now we'll layer it, and then we'll layer it again. And the last thing I want to do is stamp the sentiment. So let me get that ready. Okay, so now I'm going to stamp my sentiment. Got my MISTI out. Put this, I've just got a scrap piece of paper. You could use a block too. I just happen to use my MISTI. It's convenient. And then I'm using VersaFine black ink. I just like how crisp it shows up on the paper. And then we will run it through our die cut. I have my little Sidekick machine. Use a little bit of purple tape just to hold the die in place. I'm lining it up. I like to tape it in place. It just seems to get a little bit crooked when you run it through the machine. Okay. So there's our sentiment. And we will just glue that down top of the card. So the last tip that I want to give you, I just line it up there in the middle, kind of overlap it off the edge of the card there. So I really thank Diane for the idea. It's just such a cute card. This was her original one, purple, beautiful, beautiful paper. I think she said it was Bow Bunny. And then this one here. So now let me show you when we cut the triangles in half. So now the words are opposite on the other piece that we cut from our 2x6 strip. So what you'll do is when you put together that card, instead of going the direction we did, we had it going this way when we assembled the cards, you're just going to do it the opposite direction. And you'll line up everything. So same idea, it's just the Sunburst is coming from the other side because of the way the words are. So that's the only thing you need to know. So on my website, I'll have all the steps, all the instructions, and all the measurements. And in the video below, I'll link to my website. So thanks, guys. And I hope you get your Christmas cards made and mailed out. Thanks.